Stella. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in today's video, as you can tell by the title and the thumbnail, I'm going to be talking about my tips and tricks for bringing your service dog or service dog in training to school with you. I'm also going to talk a little bit about how the process works and how the process went for Finnegan and I. For those of you who don't know, Finnegan is my 9-month-old standard poodle service dog in training. So before we get started with the video, I just want to say that I have a petition linked in the description box of this video to help protect the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. So if you want to take like literally a minute and click on that link and fill out that petition, that would be great and help save the Arctic. So without further ado, we're gonna get right into the video. Also, I'm trying to like spice up my background and it didn't work very well because I usually have just like a gray background and now I have these lights, so.
Very fun and festive.
Thank you guys for watching and I hope you enjoy the video. So if you go to a public school, fully trained service dogs are protected under the ADA, Americans with Disabilities Act. So they have public access rights in school buildings. However, if you have a service dog in training, you have to check your state's law and see if service dogs in training are protected under the ADA in your state. So in certain states, service dogs in training have public access rights and some don't. Also, before you start taking your service dog or service dog in training with you to school, some things I would recommend if you're in the process of deciding whether or not you think your dog is ready to go to school with you. For one, if you have a professional trainer that you're working with, I would definitely recommend consulting with them because they're gonna have a pretty good idea if they think your dog is ready, if they know your dog well. Another thing you can do if you don't have a trainer is find a reputable trainer in your area and take the CGC, which is the Canine Good Citizenship Test. This is not required. This is just something that if you're trying to decide whether you think your dog is ready or not, taking this Canine Good Citizenship Test could be helpful. So obviously the most important thing in the beginning is just checking your state laws. The next thing after you've consulted with a trainer maybe or decided that your dog is ready and you've checked your state laws would be to talk to your school. So this part can be really scary. So how the process went for me is I talked to my principal. So I set up a meeting with my principal. He was super uneducated about service dogs. So when I went, I brought my laptop with the ADA website pulled up and I brought ADA law cards. Because for me personally, I was super nervous about having that meeting originally. When I got nervous, I could just kind of like refer back to the cards. So your school can say like, no, we don't want this service dog in training to come to school, only if your state does not have public access rights. If your state does have public access rights for service dogs in training, your principal doesn't have a choice. Like legally, they're obligated to let you and your service dog in training come. Even if it is legal in your state, definitely set up a meeting with your principal and talk about it with him. I did that. It's legal in my state and I set up a meeting with him. I went over the laws and I kind of just went over like what the boundaries were with Finnegan and how it was gonna work having a dog in school. Just know that they're probably gonna not know the laws. You're gonna know more than them about the laws. And so you're probably gonna have to do a ton of educating. After I talked to my principal and had a meeting with him, I had a trainer that I worked with make a video and had her pretty much just explain on camera what a service dog was. So after I made that video with her, I made a little slideshow presentation and I'll put it up on the screen probably as I'm talking. So I took a day and I scheduled times for each classroom. I talked to all the teachers and I went into each classroom and I took like 5 minutes and played that little video and also went through a couple slides that I had. So I did that presentation the Friday before I started taking Finnegan to school with me, which was on a Monday. If you can find a way to like prepare them or have your school talk to the classrooms, you could have your principal talk about it or someone else talk about it. I think that'll make the process go a lot smoother. I'm pretty sure schools can ask for like rabies and vaccine paperwork, so be prepared with that when you go to the meeting with your principal. But I'd say the process for me went pretty smoothly considering that I'm like the first person to have a service dog at school with them at my school. So now that you're all ready to start going to school with your dog, some really important things are to pack correctly for your dog. So I'll have my video up here and I'll have it linked in the description box about what I pack for school. I would recommend you watch that or do some research. Another thing which I think is super important is to not overthink it. I think the more you stress and like think about it, the worse it seems. So just don't overthink it. Like once once it's all said and done, it's really important to make sure that you're comfortable bringing your dog to school and that you feel like they're ready. And it's also really important to make sure you are ready to handle that, because it's going to be weird. Kids are going to ask you
way too personal questions.
Since I've started taking Finnegan to school with me, I've talked to kids I've
never talked to before. They like stop me in the halls and we like have conversations.
Like, you just have to expect stuff like that to happen. Like, you're gonna have a lot of attention on you for the first little while, but it definitely does like calm down, and then it just becomes part of the school routine. Just make sure you're setting boundaries. If you have friends that go to your school, talk to them, and so that they know the boundaries that you have with your service dog in training, and so that they can like back you up with the rules and boundaries around your dog. Another thing to remember is you're gonna have to be flexible. Like, you're gonna have to take your dog out to go potty. You're gonna have to give your dog water. You're gonna be taking more time in between classes in case you need to take your dog out. Like, you're taking care of them while you're at school, and you have to be flexible with that. It can definitely be time consuming in the beginning. Another thing is don't overdo it. So if you're taking a service dog in training who's young, Finnegan was 6 months when we started taking him, and so that's pretty young just because I'm a high school student and it was hard to continue with training. But something that is really important is to not overdo it. If you're taking a young dog, you don't want to overwhelm them and burn them out. So just make sure that you're not like overdoing it and like rushing into things. Sometimes I would do when Finnegan first started coming is he would stay for a half a day. So sometimes my mom would come get him at lunchtime so that he's only spending like the morning period at school. So that way school doesn't seem as long and he's not having to do a downstay for as long. Those are all the tips and tricks I have, and that's kind of the main things I wanted to talk about. I feel like I'm forgetting stuff, but I hope I covered the main points. If you guys have any questions at all, you can comment them down below and I will definitely respond. I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, you can like it and subscribe to my channel for more service dog and lifestyle content. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.